sadly, I believe it's going to be our last one here in South Africa as you move on to a different journey. But before we reminisce about that, Kinshasa.
So, thanks Philippa for inviting me. Indeed, might be the last one before I leave this wonderful area where we have done a lot up to now, developed lots of projects, and indeed we have a lot of prospects as well to come. To come back to Kinshasa, so Kinshasa, a very big city in RDC, expected to grow even more. I mean, maybe probably double within the time frame of 2050, and desperately needs a mass transit system to be implemented. So, what we've been working on up to now is the first mass transit for Kinshasa, which is a city extremely congested, and the first, I would say, part of this mass transit would aim to go from the central station to the Njili International Airport. So it's about 22 kilometers, and the plan would be to have 8 stations serving along the line for all commuters to be on board.
So I think the line is about 300 kilometers, the total project.
The total project is huge. I mean, more than 201. But I mean, we have to go step by step. And the phase we are involved in, or we would be involved in, would be the first 22 kilometers, which is crossing main areas in the city, and will probably bring lots of developments.
Has there been talk about how you're going to be involved? Because I'm assuming there's a finance aspect to it, then there's the civil works, and then the rolling stock, and then the signalling. I mean, how are you packaging this?
It's a bit early phase. I think we are not yet at that stage. So what happened over the last few years? So MetroKin has been the PPP concession created by the city and the Société Congolaise de Transport and the Airport. They've been working on the potential projects, developing this phase as a top priority. And then in 2023, the AFC, Africa's Financial Corporation, has joined. AFC will be the leading financial company for this project that should be put in place in the near future. On our side, we've joined only early this year, technical part, I would say, of the concession. Mm-hmm. And our intent is to bring the concession to a level of maturity by being at the same time EPC. And potentially a maintainer in the future.
So how long until? So I know it's like pre-project, but like how long till we start seeing some fruition come through?
Well, it depends what we call by fruition.
When can I catch a train?
When can you catch a train? I think the first step is really to define in detail what the project is going to be, because there are still lots of points to clarify with the city, with MetroKin, with the AFC. So the first one is which line do we adopt? Currently, we intend to use a way that is already existing, which would enable us to go a bit faster, but as well would probably avoid to have to work on the expropriation of some items that are quite difficult to manage. So this we would expect would shorten a bit the time of implementation. The second aspect is to find the whole financing. AFC working on that. We could help to work on that as well with MetroKin. And we all know that these are phases in a PPP scheme that could take from 1 to 2 years. So once the financing will be finalized and locked, we can expect to see the first trains running in terms of at least a test track 36 months after that date. So depend on the complexity of the project. Are we going to have big civil work pieces, bridges to build, or are we going to have something that is more relatively simpler? This will make as well a big difference in the time frame.
So just to rewind a little bit, you mentioned existing track. What is that existing track right now?
We have an existing way,
Okay.
that we would use. That's the project today. The aim of that is simply to limit relocations. And the way is adopting, I would say, the path we would like to take from the central station to the airport. So it's something that will be minimal. Will it be validated? Once again, the feasibility study, the final feasibility study has to confirm that. Will this way serve completely the whole areas we want to focus for the aid station and along the line? I think we need further more studies in the few months to come to finalize that.
Possible technical aspects. So standard gauge, electrified.
Standard gauge, electrified. On 22 kilometers with 8 stations, it's more a metro type solution rather than a commuter. So standard gauge, we've said it. Configuration of trains between around 6 to 8 cars. I mean, we still have to get detailed figures around the number of passengers. The latest agreed project in Abidjan, I think we would find ourselves in very similar configurations.
What about the rollout of the rest of the project? So I know it's 4 phases. You're in the first phase. Like, you can't just have a 22-kilometer line.
This we don't know yet, to be very clear, and it's not in our hands. I mean, it's the city together with MetroKin and further or other developers within the Kinshasa to decide what they want to do.
All right. Could this project, because it is such a condensed or majorly populated area, could this project look to carbon credits for part of its financing?
Any financing will require to have a study and a validation about the eco and social print of the project itself within the city and the country. And from that, we will judge whether or not, first, it satisfies the need to reduce the carbon footprint. And second, does it fit any criteria to get credits? We will know a bit later. But at that stage, I cannot tell you whether or not the project will be eligible for that.
The rest of the continent. There's some exciting things that have happened, so share.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting journey. Lots of development. Dar es Salaam to Dodoma. Very impressed to see that the train was full, super packed, and leaving on time. So I think it's always a good sign. But most of it, I think it's a huge improvement for the population.
Yes.
I mean, going to Dodoma in few hours, whereas it was taken by car, by bus, around 10, even more hours. So it's a huge improvement. We Alstom believe that mass transit benefits always to the economy. I think there will be a number of studies that have been showing that. Last one I saw was a study for Nairobi congestion that is a loss of $1 billion GDP, 8% in Ghana. And we can see that without infrastructure to move people, it's very difficult to sustain the economic development. So we believe that it's a way forward. We continue to work with Tanzania Railways as well. Potentially the new projects are the commuter trains of Dar es Salaam, which is a kind of a belt, half a belt around Dar es Salaam to serve as well big areas of the city. And then we're still working on the development of mass transit in Angola, mainly in Luanda, where 2 new lines have been given as a priority by the President and the Ministry of Transport, which are the blue and the green line, which are the coastal lines for about 28 and 27 kilometers, so a bit more than 50 for both of them. We are now analyzing what could be done in terms of solution. Luanda is a complexity in 2 words. And yeah, so traffic is it's extremely difficult to manage, small streets and small areas to play with. And we are trying to propose a solution where we would diminish as much as possible any expropriation concern while still providing a mass transit solution. So then we continue to work in South Africa. You can see the results of our mass transit production, serving Praza. So this is a continuous effort in the country and for the continent. Trying as well to see what could be the development for Harare. Something that is coming up. I think concessionaire has already been established. Now the main issue is to try to see how to position fundings around this project. This mass transit solution is most likely a metro type solution or light metro. And they are currently, with our assistance, technical assistance, trying to see what would be the feasibility in terms of financing. So we participate bringing technical data, and they, as a concession, have the duty to see how to gather the funds to do that. So they've been working on that now for a couple of years. So we can see that the trend is really to go more and more into mass transit development over the continent.
Your departing thoughts?
My departing thoughts is that, yeah, I mean, it's been a very interesting and hectic journey. We can see a very nice improvement in South Africa. You can see the number of stations reopened by Praza. You can see that the number of passengers are picking up. On our side, I mean, what I will call in general the supplier-based railway industry has picked up. So now we're producing at the right speed, 6 to 7 trains a month. And it's true for our suppliers as well. So this has been pretty much consolidated operationally and financially. Same for locomotives. We deliver more and more locomotives, so we're picking up. We still maintain a good level of service in Gautrain. So yeah, we have I think set up a very high industrial standard in the country, and we feel very proud of that.
I thank you very much for your time, and I wish you well as you continue on your next journey into Sao Paulo and Brazil. And I will see you in September at Trans.